right, guys, we'll go ahead and get started here. Welcome. Super excited about tonight. Tonight is senior panel. Can you just give a hand for the seniors up here? Really excited about tonight. I think it'll be very fruitful, very fun, exciting time just to hear y'all's journey here at GSM. Also, just a heads up for the panel. If there's like really like bad feedback with these mics because it's terrible, just turn it off. It will just talk loud. Does that make sense? Because it could happen. Prepare for the worst. Just prepare for the worst. Just shout. Ruin your voice. That's what I'm asking for you. So this is the panel. We actually did not get to do this last year because COVID hit around this time. And so I don't know if you've seen this before, if you're new to GSM or you've been here for about a year, but I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be very awesome. Hopefully, for you guys, whether you're in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, whatever, you can sit there and reflect on your journey right now and where you're at, right? And so to hear wisdom, to hear funny stories or whatever, or stuff that you get to look forward to, that's kind of the heart and the goal of this panel. And so we're going to get into this real quick. We'll go from Gary down to Gloria, and we'll go from Zach to Haley, so we'll get back to me. We just want to know a little bit about you guys. Obviously, we probably know you, right? You guys are seniors, you've been in this community for a long time. But we just want to get to know you guys real fast. So just your name, hobby, maybe a little bit about your family, and then if you want, where are you going for college? If you want. Just a little bit of your family,
right? My name's Garrison, aka Gary, aka Gary your intern. I'll be going to Bethel University, and something about my family. I have a dog that likes to run away a lot, and I have a very obese cat.
My name is Ethan, and I'll be going to Indiana Wesleyan University. One of my hobbies includes playing football, and I have 3 siblings.
Nice.
My name is Abby, and I have 2 older sisters, and I go to Leo, and I run track.
Nice.
My name is Gloria Kuhlman, and I have a very large family. Shout out. And I also run track and play soccer. So maybe track or
My name is Zach.
That might not work.
My name is Zach. I'm Leo. I have one older brother who was a senior last year, and he got robbed of this experience. And a mother and a father. I enjoy hanging out with my friends, having a nice cup of coffee, and I'm going to Indiana Wesleyan.
Yeah.
Nice.
My name is Clayton. I am going to Indiana next year, IU, and something about me is I really like to be outside, whether it's playing sports or fishing, hunting, whatever. And yeah.
This is not on this.
Let me see it real quick. Let's see you turn it off. That's right.
My name is Chloe Yoder. I'm planning on going to Manchester next year. Some hobbies. I play soccer and rugby and like to write poetry. And something about my family. I have 2 older brothers.
Nice.
My name's Haley. I'm going to IU this coming year, so woo!
Yeah!
I have one older brother and then 3 step siblings. I've danced for 14 years, and I like to do art.
You keep that. That's your, that's your mic. Awesome.
I have to say that I'm going to University of South Florida in Tampa.
And I'm going to Ball State to study nursing.
Love it. All the way to USF. That's a beautiful campus. Love USF. It is great. Okay, well, we got to know you guys a little bit. I think it's going to give us a glimpse into these questions. And so we're just going to dive into it, guys. And so these guys, they knew the questions ahead of time, and so I'm really excited to. I'll put you on the spot. I'm really excited to get to hear some of these memories. I guarantee you, some of it's going to be filled with wisdom and spirituality, but also I think some of it's going to be filled with really funny stories. And so excited to get all that. So first question, this is for Chloe, Abby, Stu, and Gary. First question was, what was it like when you first started coming to GSM? Chloe, you go first. How about that?
Okay, I'll go first. So I started coming at the beginning of my junior year, so last year. And I I came from like a really smaller youth group. It was like a big church, but the youth program was really small. So it was obviously a really big transition to come to a really large one, and like no one there went to Leo, and a lot of people here go to Leo like I do. So I'd say that was probably the biggest difference. Going to church with people that you go to school with is like a very different experience because like there's a built-in accountability system. Like one thing that we always talk about at youth group is like, are you the same person that you are at youth group that you are at in school? And like being consistent and authentic, just in your behavior and the way you treat people and the way you talk to people, and when you invite people to youth group, do you talk to them? And when you see them again at school, do you still talk to them? And just finding that balance. And so that was a big transition for me, and it was really nice to have that built-in accountability just because people around me could see what I was doing in all areas of my life. And then it was really interesting to see other people, and like once I realized that for myself and be that accountability for other people. And then the other thing is, I thought it would be really easy to invite people from school to church, but I actually found out that it was like a lot harder to invite people here because people saw like, when they came here, they saw like cliques and stuff like that. And so that's something I've like tried to work on, and I feel like our class has been talked to a lot about because like when people come to our youth group, they should not be experiencing the same cliques and being shut out as they do at school. So yeah,
It's an accountability system. I really like that. That's good. Abby?
I agree with Chloe with the built-in accountability, but when I first started coming my sophomore year, and I was invited, so that made it a lot less stressful. And I had some friends from school, obviously, like Lily and Gloria, so it was really nice to kind of deepen those relationships. And it was a transitional period for me too, because I grew up in a Catholic church, so that's like super formal. So coming to this youth group really helped me to make a more personal relationship with God, and I think that was huge for me.
That's good.
Okay, so I think I started coming here sophomore year, I want to say, and I knew some friends coming in, but I didn't really know like the youth pastor or anything like that. But then I got to know Kevin, and he's an awesome guy, and he really makes you feel, he really makes you feel like a part of the family. And I really think that like this student ministry is more like a family than the other ones I've been in, because like the first time that I came here, it's when we had like the chairs and like the square or the circle that are facing everybody, and I just thought that was so cool because I've never seen that anywhere else.
Nice.
Just felt like a big family. So
It's awesome.
I started coming here the summer before my 8th grade year, and some background about me. I went to Blackhawk Christian all through elementary, and so I was used to being in an environment where I was surrounded by people who had similar faiths to me, and just believed the same things. So me transitioning to Leo, because I switched to Leo my 7th grade year, it was difficult. I wasn't going to all my classes together with people that I know, think about life the same way I do, and have the same beliefs as I do. So that was difficult, but then I had some buddies who were actually going to CUIC my 8th grade year, and they invited me to come with them, and even my mom, when she was younger, that she did the same thing. Like, she didn't go here full time, but she went like on CUIC trips with Grable and was involved with the youth group. So I did that, and through that, I loved everything about it. I loved everything about the group that was at Grable, and nonetheless, I think the community at Grable is just unlike any community I've ever seen. Like the church I used to go to, it wasn't very established. A lot of leaders were leaving a lot and coming and going and that kind of thing. So it wasn't like I was able to really establish a relationship with a lot of them. And they're all great people with great intentions, but it's just that kind of thing for me being a 7th grader was kind of difficult. But here, I just felt like everybody, especially all the leaders, just were here not for themselves, not for like a publicity stunt, but just so they could love me well and love me where I'm at and help me get to where I want to be. And so it was just a great experience for me when I first started coming here. And so yeah.
Nice. I love that. It seems like there's a theme of invitation and it feeling like a family. And so, yes, you guys were talked a lot at this year. I mean, it was me. I called you out in cliques. And so I'm going to keep doing that because I think it's important because it feels like a family, right? And so we love that close-knit type family. And then also small group leaders, like you just heard from Gary himself, like your role is so crucial and important. And so thank you guys for everything that you do here. We'll go on to the next one. Favorite memory of your time here at GSM. So again, an example could be GSM Now, CWC, anything that you can think of. But we'll just go in order of the names I put on here. So Clayton, kick us off.
Yeah, so I've always loved the bigger events. That's kind of how I'm wired, is just loving to hang out with a lot of people at once. So CDYC has always been my favorite thing. It's awesome to get to play sports with the people I love, and then also go and worship with them and get in small groups and be vulnerable with them. So it's just an awesome opportunity. And also just kind of going undefeated in volleyball all 3 years. So that's what happened. And this year, it's going to happen. So
We'll see what happens.
Am I up?
You're up.
Okay. I would agree with Clayton. The big events are typically my favorite parts. CWC, I would say, is probably the highlight of my high school career. You know, as Clayton said, 2-time volleyball champs going on 3. You know, it's a good time there. I think that my favorite memory is probably my freshman year CDYC. Just being taken, the seniors that year really just took in so many of us freshmen and just made us feel so welcomed and loved. And just that whole week, I guess, I just felt like such a strong community, and that I could like go in and I could just trust everyone that was there and just have a good time with all those people while still growing my faith at the same time. I think that year in particular was really impactful for our youth group as a whole. So I'd say freshman year CWC.
Before Corona, we did like a lot more mission trips as like a youth group, and I think that one of them, like, I have a few favorite memories. One of them definitely from the Colorado mission trip, just like the people there, the way that it challenged me, and like just being put in an amazing environment that like led to so much growth and self-discovery. Like I've never had anything like that since. But also at CUIC, some specific memories that were good was mattress surfing with the girls. Like we took all the mattresses out of the beds and then put them down the stairs, and then we just like, I don't know why we had bathing suits. Yeah, I don't know why, but like we just had bathing suits, so we just slid down. It was so fun. And then tried to race back up. And then a more serious favorite memory, I do love like when Kevin would put us in the big room after like service and like force us to like be vulnerable and have like really, I don't know, just people would be led by the Holy Spirit to like really open up and talk, and I just thought that was a really raw and real experience. I don't know.
Yeah, that's good.
My favorite event was probably CDYC of this past summer. I had never been to a CDYC before, and I honestly wasn't even going to go to that one because I was freaked out to go. It made me really nervous. And then halfway through the weekend, I ran into Mike Steiner, and he was like, "Haley, you gotta go." And I can't argue with Mike Steiner, so I went. And that was the first time I felt like I was really a part of like the GSM family, and I felt like I made a lot of really good connections that like weekend, like that I hadn't been able to make before. So definitely that was a really big like turning point for my time here.
Sign up for CWC if you haven't.
Yeah.
Long story short. What's the biggest thing the Lord has taught you during this time?
I'd say, so for me, over the last 5-ish years, being in, especially with Grayble's community and his youth group, is that procrastination can be your biggest downfall. And I know a lot of you guys think when I talk about procrastination, you think of like a homework assignment, not, waiting till last minute to do it. But what I really mean by that is even procrastination with loving others, with inviting them to church, and just having that conversation with them. I could tell you back when I was in 8th grade that there were people that I saw who I ran into every single day, every day in the hall, every day in class. And I said, you know what, it's gonna be my goal to be able to be Jesus to them. It's gonna be my goal to be able to show them the love that Jesus has for us. And all of a sudden, I start getting scared and I start just saying, oh, okay, I don't think I'm that tight enough in my faith yet, so I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till next year. I'm going to wait till the year after. And then next year came to the next, and here we are, a week left of school. And still, some of these people that I said I was going to love well, some of these people I said that I was going to make an impact on, I still haven't had even a conversation with them. And I know how scary that is. It was terrifying for me, even still to this day it is. But if I could encourage you guys with one thing, it's that, you know, so oftenly we think that our biggest failure, our biggest downfall is going to be rejection, but when in reality it's going to be silence. It's going to be us and the devil working within us saying that, oh, you know, they aren't going to take this well. Oh, you can't talk to them about that. You don't have the bravery to do that. You aren't strong enough to do that. You don't know enough about the questions that they will ask you to be able to have this conversation with them, to be able to evangelize to them. And that's all that kept rolling through my head over and over and over again for the last 4 years. And look where we're at now. I didn't even make an effort. When in reality, it's not as big as you saying, oh, hey, do you know who Jesus is? Oh, you know, do you go to church? It doesn't even have to be that. It just means you even saying, hey, like, how are you doing? How is your day going? And starting to build a relationship with them. You know, there's no such thing as relational ministry, which is where you build a relationship with someone and then, you know, you get comfortable with them to the point where you can ask them about those questions, and it's not even difficult for you because you already have built that. We try to put so much pressure on ourselves to go up to someone and evangelize to them without having any sense of, you know, what they like, who they are. And, you know, I think that's our biggest problem, is that we have these expectations that just aren't reality, that aren't real. And so I just want to encourage you guys with that. I know that's something weird, but procrastination, you know, you think of it as something in school, but really there's so many aspects of your life that you can apply that to. And there's so many areas where you can really be better about that. And, you know, by you being better about that is what's going to, you know, be world changing. So, yeah, that's what God's taught me.
You're about to break out into the sermon, huh? Very good. I was like, let's get off the stage this time. Go ahead.
All right, so that's going to be hard to follow up.
Thanks, Gary.
I'm sorry.
So the Lord has really taught me just to be intentional and have a purpose behind what you do, because like you can come to youth group and you can go to church, but like that's just like people will see that, but where's your heart? Like, are you actually in it? Like, are you being intentional? And also being intentional like with reading your Bible, not making it a duty like to do every day. Like you have to be actively listening to God and reading Word like every day. And I am a goal-oriented person, just like outside of my spiritual life as well. And I think that's just something the Lord has been telling me to do, like in every other aspect of life too. Like have a purpose and a goal behind what you're trying to accomplish in life.
That's good, man.
I have gone through a lot of different seasons in my faith, like while at Grable, just like growing up with the faith kind of changes things because you don't have this like big switch where you're like living a different lifestyle and then like feel like you're living a whole different, like it just, I think that at different times this would be a different answer. Like sometimes it would have been like God is like the only way like to deal with, like God is the only truly way that you can deal with like some of the biggest problems in your life. And but I think that if I had to answer this question now, looking back, just that like you don't always have to feel God to have a relationship with him, if that makes sense. Because there was definitely times when I was sitting just like at Wednesday night or whatever, and just like going through the motions and like nothing could really like touch me. Like I just felt like I was very isolated or very in my head, and like that I wasn't really hearing or listening or being impacted or touched like spiritually. But that like God has so much grace for you, and that it is really true. Like you cannot go far enough away from him, because like he really, like his love just covers all. Like no matter what, like no matter how many times you just keep going and doing the same mistake or intentionally going back to something that's unhealthy or sinful or not what God wants in your life, like it is true. Like God really has so much grace and so much forgiveness, and he will always accept you and always want you to be part of his family. I want you to be his child and have a relationship with him. And like, there's just nothing you can do that can separate that if you want that.
That's really good.
So we got these questions ahead of time, like Michael said, and this question like really stumped me for like a solid week. Just because I feel like there are a lot of things that I've learned, and like recently, like this year, I felt like I had like some time of silence from God, and I just was kind of confused. And then like in the past like 3 months, like a lot of stuff has happened in my life, and I feel like God has taught me like so much. I don't even know what's going on, but I would say the most common theme throughout high school is like surround yourself with like people that are different than you, and like put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Like I don't mean like unsafe situations, but like unsafe for like your comfort, and like because that's where you're gonna love people well the most, and that's where you're gonna see people that need Jesus. Like the people that like scare you as far as like, I don't know, their hobbies, or maybe you can't relate to them, or maybe they're mean, or maybe they judge others, and you're like, I don't like how they judge others. Too bad. You have to love them too. And like when people are different than you, like they can teach you so much more. And no matter how much you think you know everything, you don't. Take it from me. I thought I knew everything. I don't. And there is so much you can learn from other people, and so much you can learn from new situations, about yourself, about God, about how to talk to other people, and like you'll become so much more natural in different situations. Like I never would have gotten on a stage before. This isn't even like that crazy, but like I would have been like freaked out by this. But like just through putting myself in different situations throughout my life, like I feel fine doing this. And it also has helped me with like things in my own life. Like this year, like some stuff is like fallen apart in my family, and like because I spent time with people that are different than me, I learned a lot of coping things and like coping mechanisms from people that have also gone through it that I never thought like my perfect family would have ever gone through. And so it's a lot more rewarding than you think, and it's a lot less scary after you do it several times. And some of my greatest memories are with people that I never would have talked to. So
Yeah.
yeah.
2 things I got from that. One, if you're sitting there and you're listening to these guys, one, if there's a person in your life that you have wanting to have that conversation about Jesus, just do the work. Just do it before it's too late. These guys have a week left of school, and I mean, you still got the summer, right? And you're going to be back, and I mean, that person's not gone forever, right? So you can have the conversation. But for you guys to be in school, just take advantage of it now. Then also in ministry, the Bible talks about being in season and out of season, right? And in-season ministry feels like, oh, this feels great. I went to CWC. I feel the Lord. I'm on fire. Like, I love this. That's easy. Like, that's easy Christian faith. Out of season is when your life feels like it's in shambles. It's the day-to-day grind of life, and it just feels rough. And that's what Gloria was saying. And so, man, God, He's not far away from you. He loves you, and His grace covers all that. And so I think that's really encouraging. We are running out of time. We've got 3 questions left, and we'll go quick. Short answers, Gary. We'll go quick. What would you say was the biggest impact GSM has had on you? Yeah. Go ahead, Zach.
Oh, you said Gary. Zach. I'm sorry. I'll go really quick. What I think is really cool about youth group is that while it's a place that lots of people just come to hang out with your friends or just to have a good time, there's that, and then there's also the ability to be open with others and to grow your faith at the same time. And I just think that the mix of both of it, you know, my best memories with my friends probably aren't just hanging out on a Friday night. It's like these events, you know, Culver's after youth group or CWC or something like that. So the biggest impact Rachel has had on me is just to serve as this kind of safe haven of getting to grow deeper with my friends and with others just spiritually and just as relational at the same time.
Yeah, that's good.
For me, it was definitely when I started being vulnerable in small groups. It really opened me up because there were some things that I was dealing with that I had kind of just accepted. I'm just going to have this struggle for the rest of my life. And I see my friends, my brothers in my small group that are dealing with the same thing and doing well. And they were in the same place I was and have gotten better. And I have seen that, and I've also gotten better, and I've really grown through my accountability partner. We are like I meet with somebody and we talk every week about what we're dealing with, whether it's spiritual, emotional, even like physical pain from being sore, from playing sports or whatever. But that has just really opened me up to wanting to grow. There were things I just didn't really care to fix about myself, and I've gotten a new perspective on that and seen that there are things more important than that. That's good.
I would say that the biggest impact of youth group for me has probably been the consistency of it. Like, I get really stressed by things, but having something every week to kind of look forward to kind of like fill myself back up and like pour into my different friendships and just hear God's word was always something that was really good for me, and I just feel like it's always been a consistent like support system that I can always rely on, so I'm really thankful for that.
The biggest impact GSM has had on me is probably just like my faith in relation to my mental health. I've struggled for pretty much as long as I can remember with depression and anxiety, and my youth group that I went to before GSM was really kind of toxic with that and like exiled me once I told them and like came out about my struggles. So I was kind of just always wired to think that like mental health is a hard no in the church, which like is so untrue. And when I came to GSM and found out that that's like not right at all, it was just such a like relief to know that like I can still like struggle with those things and still live like a life that's like for the Lord.
That's really good. If you could go back and do anything differently, what would it be?
For me, it would definitely be, I just recently, towards the end of last year, and I've been doing really well this year, I've been kind of reaching out of my group, out of my clique too, because I've realized that there are so many interesting people that come here, and we have the most important thing in common, which is God. And there's so many people who have so many different perspectives, and if you just talk to them for a few minutes every week, say hi to them when you see them, it really opens up a new window to see what different types of people there are, what people believe, and it's really cool.
That's your next short answer.
Hey Kev, just cut me off if I go too long, right? Okay, so something that I would do if I could go back is I would say I wouldn't make it as much about me as I did. A lot of times I get so self-involved with things like youth group that I'm like, oh, I gotta go hang out with my friends, and I'm just gonna hang out with my friends, and I'm just gonna talk to those that I'm the closest with. And you know, I get so involved with that I forget the main goal of it, which is outreach. Outreach is so important. As much as we love each and every one of you guys coming, it's so important that you guys invite friends, that you reach out to those closest to you. I was in this youth group for 5 years, and I did not invite that many people to youth group, at least not nearly as many as I should have. And this goes back to what I said before. It's scary if you procrastinate a lot. I did it all the time. But so I'd say if I could go back and do one thing different is I would be more others oriented than I was. I was so self-involved and so just worrying about myself. So I encourage you guys, don't regret that like I am now. You guys, especially you freshmen, you middle schoolers, you have so much future ahead of you in high school in this youth group. You know, once you become juniors and seniors, you will be leaders in this youth group. And the best way for you to lead is by your actions, not by your words, not not just like coming up here and saying something, but it's by the way you live. So I encourage you guys, don't only talk the talk, but walk the walk. So yeah.
It's good.
I have always lived by like no regrets, and I stand by that. I don't think I'd want to go back and change like anything that got me to this point, because I would be different than I am now. And I think that like everything that I've experienced was like from the Lord. That being said, last week I thought former intern Caleb Heck was going in to give me a hug, and I gave him a hug back, and I realized it was not a hug. So I would change that. But other than that, I'm very content with where my life is at and all the steps that have led me there.
Sorry, Caleb. Sorry. Okay, I also believe everything happens for a reason, and so I don't know if I would like truly want to go back and change stuff, but if I could make myself learn something earlier, it would have been that I don't know, like I can just remember myself and I just like cringe thinking back on me being like, I don't know, just judgy or like rude or like having these preconceived notions about people and then like treating them like I was better than them or something. I just hate that, thinking about that. And then also learning like, cause I used to literally think like, even growing up in like kids jam, like if I put my, like, you know when people like put their arms up to worship, like I was like afraid to do that only because I thought people would do it because people would think I was doing it for attention. Like I would literally like think myself into it so much to the point where I was not even like being authentic to what I was feeling, more so just like so overthinking it to like where I was so concerned what other people thought I was thinking. I don't know, just very complicated, but wish I would just not care, and I just wish I learned that, and I just wish I learned that people are people and people outside the church are just as much need love and just as much the same as all of us, and that you can just talk like, I don't know, I feel like I just separated myself from those types of people that are really just people, like me and you, and I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's good. Do your best on this. What is a one sentence advice you can give to everyone here that will eventually be seniors? We'll go Gary down to Gloria, and then we'll come back this way and we'll be done. One sentence advice. You got this.
Okay, can I kind of explain it a little bit?
One sentence advice.
That's one sentence.
Okay, all right. I'll do my best. That's all I can promise you. All right.
Go for it.
All right. Okay. I would say one piece of advice I would give each and every one of you is never belittle your significance on others.
Attaboy.
My one sentence advice is to read your Bible every day.
As you get faster, I love that.
Simple, but effective.
That was not the part of the one
I would say to involve yourself in as many things as you can and don't stress yourself out about grades because that's not what defines you. And to, I don't know, love God.
Love God, don't stress out my grades.
I can go. I would say lots of people will tell you just cherish every moment because it goes by fast. I wouldn't say that. I would say make the most of every moment. I would say definitely start talking to new people early on.
Don't waste your time fighting reality because it's gonna happen. Just talk to God about it and move on because life is life and gotta keep
Love it.
living.
It's a daily grind.
Everything good and bad comes from the Lord, and just treat it like such. Make it like worth His while and your while.
Gloria, you got it?
Pour into other people, especially those younger and especially those older than you.
Love
Everybody tune in next week and I'll be hosting Game Show on stage. Thank you, bye.
Hey, before you go, hey, I need Kyle, Roman, and Marina. Come on up here. They'll do something. They're going to pray for them, and then we're going to go into the time of worship. So where's Melina? You got a mic too? Okay. He'll start. No, you start and he'll end. You start, he ends.
Hey, could the rest of the seniors stand up, please? I want to see who you are. Good. I just want to say how proud we are of you guys and how well you have represented GSM, whether it was scholastically or athletically. So I'm honored to be able to pray for you. So God, We bring these kids before you. We thank you for the contributions they have made to GSM. We thank you for their abilities. I pray especially that as they go off to school, that they will always remember to keep things grounded in the Word. When they are challenged by professors or other friends, that they will always look to the Word for their answer. Most of all, God, I pray that they will never forget who they belong to, and that they will always turn to you when they are in need. In the name we ask, amen.
Thank you, Lord. Just thank you for the senior guys, Lord, and the year that we've had. And I thank you, Lord, for their commitment to you and their willingness to share their struggles. And I just pray, Lord, that they could overcome them and that they would just keep coming to you for support and their friends. And Lord, I just pray, Lord, that you would guide them as they leave here and that they would just keep on looking to you, Lord, and not trying to find answers on their own. In your name we pray.
Thanks.